Rob Prey to the front. There you go. Okay, everybody, we go ahead and get started on the drivers meeting for the Autocross. Once again, I just wanted to touch on just a couple things, questions that come up, and then I'll give it to the experts, because these guys are experts at this, and I'm just a driver on race course. If you are working today and know explain the workstations and all that, you can wear shorts. That's okay today. Okay, it's a hot day, and once again, as I said this morning, please stay hydrated. Find something to drink. We don't want anybody getting dehydrated. They'll talk about all the safety items, but the one thing, since I'm like the guy who has to sign all the official paperwork, we want you to stay in your designated areas. I know these guys will cover this, but the spectators are going to maybe kind of want to get out there a little bit. They'll cover this. Please stay in your designated areas during this event. The traffic pattern while this event is going will be around this way, okay, around. So even if you're not involved with the autocross and you want to leave, you got to go out that side of the garage and you got to go that way, please, okay? All right, who's taking over?
Attention joggers. No, thanks, Ed. I'm Rob Craig with the Glen Region Sports Car Club of America chapter here. So we do a lot of events in this area with autocross, but also with, as mentioned, road racing here at this awesome track that we're blessed to be with. So what I want to do is welcome you guys to the Green Grand Prix, and this is part of the day where you get to see how fast your car goes, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Main thing is we need to follow the procedures just to make sure that people stay safe, have fun, and get lots of runs. I think you probably have more opportunity to run than you're going to have probably the energy to do, so that should go good. So we're going to start out with safety procedures, and then John, you're going to do the stick, or you will? He'll do it.
Thank you, everyone. Mark Manchicaro, I'm the safety steward for today's event, and the reason we're able to do this stuff, and by the way, we have these competitions throughout the year. Just check out our website. This SEC website says regions all over the place, Pennsylvania, New York, all over the place. So no matter where you're from, there's lots of good stuff going on. So we have insurance that enables us to do that, and we have that because we have certified safety stewards that approve the course and make sure that everybody's out there doing things properly. So when you're out there, when you're in the car, obviously you need to have your helmet on, you have loader helmets, you have your seatbelt on. We can't have any loose items in the car at all. Driver's floor mat's got to come out, that water bottles under the seat, all that stuff's got to come out, nothing hanging from the mirror, any of that kind of stuff, okay? You have to keep your hands in the car at all times. That if you have a passenger, which probably with the shortage of helmets, you're probably not going to have many passengers, but that will also be the case. If you happen to have some sort of recording device in your car, it has to be affixed firmly to the car, either bolted on or a suction cup to the window. You cannot have anything handheld. Obviously, you can't be on your phone in the car. I assume the whole day the rule was no drugs or alcohol, so I don't have to go with that. When you're out there working the course, the number one thing you need to do is make sure you do not get hit by a car. You're not likely to get hit by a car, but occasionally cars spin in the wrong direction, so you never, ever, ever turn your back on the car. You are always going to be looking at the car, right? You are not going to be taking your cell phone out of your pocket while you're out there on the course. No. You're not going to be taking pictures when you're out there on the course, working the course. You're there to, number one, make sure you don't get hit by a car. And number two, be ready to wave that red flag if called upon. And then the third thing is you have to reset the cones, which we'll show you here in just a moment. When you go to reset the cone, you're going to want to hustle out there and reset it back in its box, but we want to be safe. For those of you who are spectating, you're going to need to stay within a couple of feet of this building, okay, like 5 feet. Can't be wandering out towards where the cars are running on the course, all right? And please don't block the display sign that's at the back. When you go to line up, we're just going to have a continuous line of cars that go. So right outside here, you'll see a series of cones. There'll be a person with a green flag that'll help you line you up next to the cones. And there'll be a pair of cones behind that about, I want to say 40 feet or so. That's where the next car's going to wait, okay? So one car's going to be on the line, one car will be kind of like on that line. Everybody else is going to just be in a line that goes all the way around the building, okay? So when you finish the course, just get right back in the line, if you want, okay? Assuming you want to go again. This back stretch here, 5 miles an hour, okay? Which is going to feel like you're not even moving at all after coming off the course, but 5 miles an hour, because there's all sorts of people around here, and your adrenaline's going to be high, okay? So 5 miles an hour through there. So red flag, there's a radio that you'll have at the workstation. We have 3 workstations that will point out. When we get there, there'll be more than one person in each workstation. Most important is red flag. So if you need to call a red flag, you hold the button, wait for 1 second, and say red flag, red flag, and red flag. 3 times you do that, and you wave the red flag. Okay? So whoever has the radio has the flag. And if you see the red flag waving, everybody waves the red flag. Okay? Even if the car is already passed you never know what they're going to look to see it.
So with that, what's really important is that you are looking for a worker station in case, in rare case, we need to do that. Because there's a really good reason we need to do that.
Yeah, there's a number of reasons we would do it. The number one reason we would do it is that there's going to be a lot of space between the cars, okay? There's going to be 2 cars out there at a time, but they're not going to be anywhere near each other. If somebody spins and can't get going, then that's the number one reason why you're going to get a red flag, so you stop, okay? It's highly unlikely that an animal's going to be on the course, but that could be it, okay? Or somebody spilled something, or I don't know. For whatever reason, we have to stop, all right? Car, space gets closer to the car breaking down. But while you're waiting to hold the flags, you do not want to have the flag curled up like this, okay? This is a red stick. This doesn't look like anything. You want to have it unfurled all the way, hanging by your side like this, and when you hit a red flag, you just wave it. It's a nice big figure 8, okay? Do not jump in front of the car to wave the flag. Remember, rule number 1 is don't get hit by a car. And jumping in front of the car is not a good idea.
Okay, so everybody wants to go really fast, and that's really good. Is this long enough? Okay. Out there are cones. So you have to drive between the cones on the course. And then the penalties, if you don't drive on the course, you knock the cone over, that will be a 2-second penalty added to your time. Now, if the cone stands up and touches any part of that chalk mark, all the cones are chalked, that's not a penalty. So when you see the car go by, you see the cone going up in the air, the cone move, run out and check it. If it's a good, you can say, hey, no penalty, you don't have to call it in. But if it is a penalty, that's you need to call in to the timing table and say, hey, car number 34, 1 cone. Wait for timing to call back to you and say, confirm 1 cone. Okay? So keep an eye on the car number. If you can't see the car number, try to call out what the car is, timing will make up for it. The cone, if it's out of the box but standing up, is still a penalty. If the cone is laying down in any way, that is a penalty, even if it's over the box. Now there are pointer cones out there. So we got a cone in a box and a pointer cone trying to help you which side of the cone to go on. The pointer cones do not count for anything. So even if they take out both of those cones, it's only 1 penalty because it's the vertical cone that counts only. Yeah. If somebody goes out there, I think there's a Porsche running. If he goes out and flips the cone completely up in the air and back down, and it touches any part of that chalk mark, that is not a penalty. And it has happened multiple times, so it's pretty fun to watch. Okay. And then when you go out, and if it's not completely in the square, see this one's out of the square, set it back into the square. Yeah, when it's safe. So if you see the car go by, when you're working, you should be watching the front of the car, except for, unless he's pointing at you. Watch the back of the car to see what the cones do. Because if you don't reset the cone, that next driver may have a better run than you because the course is a little bit straighter. So keep an eye on those cones, keep them in the square. Okay? And we'll be watching. If you're too slow to get out there, we're going to have to hold up. We'll have to hold drivers up. Therefore, you'll get less runs. So the faster you get the cones reset, the more runs you get out there on the course.
Thank you very much. 1 second.
One other thing, looking around, nobody here is grown up to hold up a car. Should you roll the car, do not stick your arm out trying to stop it from the roll. It's happened, and people have broken their arms. So just,
Until we ask you somebody, what?
just huddle up and say this sucks.
Most importantly, don't roll your car. Okay, so the reason we have these safety messages is not just the browbeat and so forth, is that we do this at every event, including people with lots of experience, because when you really start getting in on the track and then you walk around, you're talking to somebody after it's in your lap or whatever it is, you're excited and you don't realize somebody just drove by like a bus. You've never had to actually talk about a bus at an event, but you have to think about, who else could be going faster isn't seeing you either. So after that, the main thing we want to do is have fun here. This is a competitive part of the event, so drive your fastest. And if you need to use loaner helmets, we have a row of loaner helmets right behind you, where the camera is. The loaner helmets are
Right back at that door.
right back of the door. We have small, medium, and large. What I recommend you do is there you go. Thank you, Don. Hard help, so you
Balls are at the foot, medium, and then emojis.
Yep. So some of the newer ones are color coded by size versus the older ones, but they all say in the back of the helmet. Feel free to use them, but if you start seeing the helmets go down in terms of availability, please put them back after each run. We would like you to use them if you don't have them, and they're all the right kind of specs for this type of event. How we're going to start the event is okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to.
You can run it out more, I just can't see it.
Okay. So what we're going to do. So what the start line procedure is going to be is Ed and Mark mentioned, you're going to come around through here and grid up through here. And then you're going to get to, you'll see behind you, behind the helmets, there's going to be a cone there that has a green flag right there, and that's the start line. You'll line your car up with the cone evenly at the starter. And then the key thing to know is they'll tell you when to go, because they're going to be walking the course in case somebody drops some blues or something broke. Something, right? And we'll start you and we'll sync with the timer in advance. We'll have it all figured out. What you're going to do is get as fast as a running start as you can get, so that means give it the beans. But if you give it too many beans, you're going to be just doing this to start, and that doesn't help. So if you get a better time, you're going to want to get a nice launch. And then you want to be looking ahead as far as possible. That's the key to going fast, whether it's out here at Watkins Glen or it's in the paddock here, is you shouldn't be reacting like this. Be looking out. I'm going to plan where I'm going to go, especially with some of these torquey vehicles we have with electrics. It's going to be a handful to keep yourself focused. And then you're going to go around, of course, back through here behind the hot dog stand, and then around the post, and then finish out here, and then go out and come back around again in the regroup. We will do a novice walkthrough before we get started, so everybody can get the idea of where to go. It's not too bad in terms of direction. They've done a nice job setting up the course, so a big thanks to these guys. We're all volunteering their free time, taking a day off to do that. So, really appreciate it. And anybody have any questions before we get started? Yep. Any questions?
The numbers that are on your cars, which side are they on?
Passenger.
That's going to be, if I'm starting on this side,
We're gonna have to have the starter wherever the numbers are.
Okay.
So we'll figure it out.
I just saw that. Couldn't do it.
Yep. So what we're gonna do then is a novice walkthrough. Oh, we have a question.
Windows be down?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
You get extra points if you have them up and the heat off. And the heat on, I'm saying. Anyway.
And it can't be a sunroof open on it.
So what we're gonna do here is we'll do a novice walkthrough, but after the event is done, what we're going to do is have a cleanup to get the cones all put away. And then we'll have awards at the media center, and we'll be tabulating, who the winners are gonna be. So, number one thing we want you to have today is fun. So, go as fast as you can go within your abilities and safety, but at the same time, though, go for it and have fun. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to talk to us. Hang on. So don't hesitate to talk to us, but we also have people, including myself, who can ride with you. If your car has a passenger seat, to give you pointers. This is not easy to do. And particularly some of these cars are quite quick and nimble. Stuff's gonna come at you, but you can hang with it as you go. Okay, so novice walkthrough right now, and meet me at the start-finish line, and then we'll be in your cars in about 10 minutes. Thanks.
Oh, you do have sunblock. I know some people are getting kind of mad. You can think about it. We're gonna be out